Hey guys, this is Shaun of the Dead. This is a response to Fate of Destany's Should You Carry a Concealed Firearm? Well, I think that's a great question. But before we get rolling on that, I would like to do a little shout out to Fate of Destiny. I watched several of your vids for a while now. I'll kind of catch them here and there and stuff. I don't watch as much YouTube as I have had in the past. Been pretty busy at work and stuff lately, and just on my off time, I've been doing so much other stuff. I recently built Spike's Tactical. You can check out my review. But what I wanted to tell you is, I recently watched your gun ban stuff, and I like how well articulated you were. Not only did you use strong, compelling points and intelligence, and you used facts, and you did it in a professional manner, you also used a lot of common sense. And a lot of people that are pro-gun are, so passionate about the situation that they become a little heated with their responses, and then the anti-gun people get a little heated also, and who knows who struck first, but it doesn't matter who struck first. We need to all kind of chill out and say, look, this is what the situation is, and like you said, we're coming for the same goal, but we're coming at it from two different angles. And I just did a video earlier this evening on the California shooting that happened yesterday. It's now after midnight, I can say yesterday. I wasn't feeling too good when I did it, so I was feeling a little grumpy, so I might have been a little bit more harsh, but that's okay. You get a little uncensored Shaun once in a while. That's kind of fine. I just wanted to let you know I appreciated how you spelled out things in a proper manner. Jaeger, the Patriot Nurse, they did a combination video that kind of outlined it and stuff, and she's like, I'm not going to capitulate. She was very fervent with that. I am not going to capitulate with a tyrannical government trying to circumvent my Second Amendment rights and perform theft upon my home and steal my firearms. So I can kind of get on board with that myself to a point. At one point is it theft, but right now, since we still have our rights, the right to bear arms and the right to carry concealed. I give you a little bit of background. I'm a certified martial arts instructor, so I have been trained in hand-to-hand combat to a certain degree. I am no UFC fighter by no means. I went to a fairly traditional studio, learned fairly traditional martial arts. It's a combination of Taekwondo, Hapkido, and a few elements of Judo and Kung Fu, but mostly Taekwondo and Hapkido. And one thing that I've learned throughout my training to become certified as an instructor and getting my black belt and all that jazz is that never underestimate anybody. Like 2 weeks after I got my black belt, the instructor was like, "Oh, I want you to go spar with this yellow belt guy. He just got his yellow belt, and blah 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 blah." And this dude was like athletic, right? And I'm a pretty good sized dude, and I've always been a pretty good sized dude. It doesn't mean much, but I mean, I'm not one of those, hey, you look at that dude and he looks like a natural athlete kind of guys, since I just don't look it, and well, I don't really act it either, so that's okay. But I might surprise you on a few aspects there. But I got this swelled head a little bit. I was a little bit cocky, a little overconfident. I was wearing my black belt around my waist. I just got a couple weeks before, so I was like, yeah, that's right, I'm the man, and I'm up there sparring with this dude, and I threw this really pretty roundhouse kick, and he threw a side kick that was a little bit lower than my roundhouse kick, and ooh, yeah, caught me good in the groin. And the rest of the time I was just pretty much fending him off, as I didn't really want to kick anymore, because everything below the waist was a little unhappy at the moment. So yeah, it kind of taught me a lesson. And then I went and I had ended up sparring him again like another month or so later or whatever. I come back and I just kept kicking him in the head over and over and over and over and over again. I was like, no, that ain't happening again, buddy. I'll show you. I'll take you serious this time. And yeah, it was a slightly different battle. The next time I was like, ding, 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 and he was like, bam, 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 bam. But it just goes to show you, if that would have been like a UFC fight, that first match, that would have been it, dude. He would have won. That would have been over. I mean, yellow belt kicks a black belt's butt. Hey, it happens. So, things can happen in a blink of an eye. So, if you're not prepared for it, and you're not ready to do it, and you're not ready to act upon things, do not carry a firearm. Pepper spray, stun guns, tasers, all these are great things. Learning self-defense is great. Learning the concepts of self-defense is great. All these things are awesome tools that you can have at your disposal. I recommend doing most of all of them at one time or another, and any combination you want to use them in. Go find yourself a self-defense course. I would recommend not taking your regular studio martial arts as I did coming up. Even though I learned a lot and I feel comfortable against the average guy, I really wouldn't. It's not as combat effective as some other things that I've found after being in the martial arts world for a long time. Krav Maga, if you can find a real good Krav Maga school, that is an amazing martial art. It's the Israeli martial art, as most of you probably know, and it's about breaking your enemy. They either break something, or they dislocate something, or they put somebody out, or they're taking someone's life. It's a very aggressive, very demanding martial art. I haven't found a really good Krav Maga school in my area, so I'd probably join up with that and check it out. Or, if you're feeling really adventurous and you're kind of a hoorah kind of person, you can go join up with a gym that actually does MMA, and you'll learn how to fight, just be a fighter. That's great for one-on-one, but things like Krav Maga will give you other aspects to it that is more than just one-on-one, multiple attackers, things like that, weapons, things you won't learn with MMA. So it just depends on what you're looking for, where to go for your training. But I believe you should definitely go get some form of, hand-to-hand martial combat training, because not only does it help you health-wise, it also helps with your mental status. It helps you go. You can assess in the situation, because now you've seen people of different walks of life. You look at things in a different perspective, and it helps you with your threat assessment. And go to courses on threat assessment. Go to a self-defense concepts course. I went to one of those whenever I got my black belt, and it was a phenomenal class. It taught not only how to do different things physically and what to do in certain situations, but it was mostly about learning the concepts, just all in your head, about self-defense and making yourself a non-target. By keeping your head up when you walk around instead of looking down at the ground. Not being like this on the phone, going, hey, I'm going to be on the phone, and I'm not going to pay attention to nobody, and I'm over here, and I'm looking around, and I'm carrying a bunch of groceries, and I'm going out to my car, fumbling for my keys, and doing all this stuff, and yet now you're this huge target, and it's like, somebody can come up and get a hold of you now. So, take a self-defense concepts, and, what I'll try to do is I'll try to put out a video on some of the things on awareness for you. But, take a self-defense concepts course. And then, if you're going to carry a firearm, go take a firearm class. Not just to shoot paper. Do that. And then take, like step 2 and step 3. And if they don't offer anything in your area as far as move and shoots to help you with tactical shooting or anything, join up with one of the organizations like IDPA or IPSC or USPS. They all have their pros and cons. I used to shoot some IDPA. It was fun. I enjoyed it. There's a bunch of good guys there. But they were, I mean, it's a sport. You know, those things are sports. But I tell you what, when I first went there, I learned how bad of a shooter I was. Standing in a static position, shooting at a static target at a specific range, yeah, I was fine. Sure, not a problem. But, you know, you change distances, heights, all over the place, moving targets that moving around and pop up and then disappear, and, you know, yeah, it changes the dynamic, and you're going to move around and drop your mag, reload, and, you know, reacquire your targets and shoot and pop around corners and shoot up underneath stuff, shoot through barrels and all kinds of crazy crap. Yeah, well, I tell you what, here was last place, and here was me my first day. I was like, wow, dude, I'm like 3 times the time it took the guy in last place. I was like triple that. It was horrible. By my 4th match, I was middle of the pack. I was doing all right because there's a bunch of good guys out there that were like, no. Let's fix your grip. Let's fix this. Let's fix your stance. Let's fix your mind. Let's teach you how to, properly, train yourself to take on your targets and maneuver around these obstacles that you're having, issues with. This is the best way to hold your firearm when you load. This is the best way for this. This is the best way for that. And so they really helped, coach me along, and I learned a lot. And my shooting skill just immense, just quickly, doubled, just overnight. By the time that I left, I had already, I'd shot several matches, and by that time I had qualified as marksman, and I was beating people that were, in time-wise, in the same category, but at a higher level than me, that were sharpshooters. I was beating some of their times. So I started feeling pretty good about my skill level by the time I left. So do a shooting course. I want something more tactical and less sport-oriented, so I'm looking for something a little bit more tactical currently, and do more tactical courses because that's kind of where my mindset is. But do those things. Go and shoot tournaments. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's good practice, and it gets you used to shooting, in odd ways and odd places and in odd constraints. And they'll put pressure on you with a clock and with with trying to beat somebody else's time, and this competition that's there. All these things that put stress on you. It helps you prepare for a stressful situation. And since in IDPA specifically, because that's the one that I've done, I don't know about the other ones, I can't attest to them, but you wear cover and you shoot from a concealed position, so you flip back your cover and you pull your concealed firearm and you do the course with your concealed weapon. And it can be a full-size weapon or whatever, but you have to have a vest over to conceal your firearm, or a jacket or something. It has to be covered. So it's based on a concealed carry, and it's the International Defensive Pistol Association for defensive shooting. So that's my answer to you is, if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. If you want to do it, be properly trained to do so, and augment your shooting with physical training and with mental exercises. And so that's pretty much the gist of it. And thanks, Fate of Destiny, for putting out your video, and I appreciate your time. And this is Shaun of the Dead saying, don't forget to subscribe.